Yes, I am wearing a Mummy shirt to review The Devil Wears Prada 2 because, like fashion, the Mummy is timeless. What is going on, everybody? Tom Shadowbash here, and if you love movies and TV like I do, then rest assured you are in the right place. And today we're going to be talking about The Devil Wears Prada 2, the highly anticipated sequel that sees the return of stars Anne Hathaway, Meryl Streep, Emily Blunt. I almost got through that without messing up. The sequel that sees the return of stars Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, Emily Blunt. Come on, dude, really? The sequel that sees the return of stars Anne Hathaway, Stanley Tucci, Emily Blunt. Why is her name such a fucking landmine? The sequel that sees the return of stars Emily Blunt, Meryl Streep, Stanley Tucci, and Anne Hathaway. There we go. Jesus, I guess the order mattered. Now look, the first Devil Wears Prada film, in my opinion, is one of the most rewatchable films ever made, ever put to film. It has been such a comfort film for me over the years. It has picked me up when I have been down. It puts a huge smile on my face. I unabashedly love that movie, 2 pieces. I've seen it approximately, hold on, let me actually do the calculations. Just a sec. Yep, so I think according to my math, yep, carry the 1. I've seen it about, yep, that seems right, 30,000 times. So safe to say my expectations were pretty high going into the sequel, and I was very wary going into the sequel, because if I'm being honest, the marketing hasn't done this movie any favors. It kind of made it look pretty lifeless and dull, so I was hoping that I would be wrong about this, that my gut feeling would be wrong. The Devil Wears Prada 2 is really good when it actually decides to be a sequel instead of a retread or greatest hits compilation of the first film. I think there's plenty for fans of the first film to enjoy here, but I think the film takes a little bit too long to actually find its footing, figure out what it wants to say, and actually evolve these characters and play with the dynamics and go into some untreaded territory to make it more of a worthwhile time at the movies. Now, unsurprisingly, every member of this core cast that has returned to the fold here, they are fantastic. I mean, honestly, it feels as if they stepped off the set of the first film and went directly to filming this sequel. That's how good they are, and that's how effortlessly they slip back into these characters' shoes. Anne Hathaway, Meryl Streep, Stanley Tucci, Emily Blunt, all of them are delivering fantastic performances here. Meryl Streep's delivery just remains timeless and singular. Anne Hathaway just has that bubbly, infectious, charismatic demeanor about her. Stanley Tucci is just the best friend that you always wish you could have, but you've never quite been able to find. And Emily Blunt, I mean, look, she's Emily Blunt. She's the best, and her comedic timing just has that pinpoint precision that I feel like a lot of actresses strive to have, but just never do. So all of the core performances are fantastic. Everyone looks like they're having a great time being back, playing these characters. No one looks like they're here for a paycheck, and that thankfully put me at ease. And I did appreciate what this film has to say about the state of journalism today, how it's been, dying, how print journalism especially has been slowly dying and fading away, especially in the decades since that first film came out. I like how it explores that, or at least attempts to, because I do wish that it explored it a little bit deeper, but still, I appreciated the sentiment, and I appreciated the passion that it had about that topic. And I really enjoyed the second half of this movie, where it actually decides it wants to be a sequel and continue the story of these characters, play with those dynamics, play with those relationships, go into some uncharted territory that it hasn't before, and do something different. That's where I really started to enjoy this movie. The first half of the film just feels like a clone of the first film, just in different clothes. It's just, Andy trying to prove herself to Miranda, this time as a features editor for Runway instead of an assistant. She's going to Nigel for advice because she feels like she's not getting Miranda's approval, and she's being a bit of a petulant child. We've seen it before, and it just felt like the movie was just playing the hits. And I think some fans will enjoy that, but for me, I wanted more. I didn't want to just see the first film again. And I did like the fact that we explored the twilight of Miranda's career, where she's on the verge of retirement, where she doesn't really know what she wants to do next. She's still fighting to stay alive in this industry and be the head of this company that she, helped create the voice for and the cultural imprint for. And seeing that explored was really compelling, especially when you have Meryl Streep really adding new layers to this character. I appreciated that. But then on the other hand, you have some supporting characters that just make you scratch your head of not only why they're in the movie, but how flat and almost cartoonish they are. There's one character that's played by Justin Theroux here. Just the less we say about that character and that performance, the better, because it is so bizarre, and it feels like he's coming out of a completely different movie. I don't know, man. So all in all here, The Devil Wears Prada 2, I think it's a mixed bag of a sequel, but I still enjoyed a lot of it, especially that second half where it actually feels like a proper sequel to that original film. As someone who adores that first film, I still found a lot to enjoy here, and I think fans are going to find plenty to enjoy here, and I'd be very surprised if fans didn't enjoy The Devil Wears Prada 2. I think this movie is going to be a huge hit. I think audiences are going to love it, even though I do wish it took more risks. At the end of the day, it still put a smile on my face. I still enjoyed myself. I just didn't love love it as much as that first film. But I think deep down I knew that was going to happen, that it was pretty inevitable, but here we are. So in the end, I'm going to give The Devil Wears Prada 2 3 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed it. It's got plenty of entertainment value. The performances are fantastic. I'd be lying if I said I didn't tear up a couple times, especially in that last act of the movie. It made me laugh, made me tear up. It gave me plenty of entertainment, even despite its flaws. So I think if you love that first film, I think you're going to really enjoy this one, even despite its shortcomings. So that's my take on The Devil Wears Prada 2. Let me know what you thought of the movie if you check it out this weekend. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you think it's just okay? Let me know down below. And until next time, everybody, I'm Tom Chattelbash, YouTube's most reliable movie critic.